Hey everyone, welcome to Wax Pack Wisdom. I'm Jake T. O'Donnell. It's the first day of the Shriner Show. It's Friday. It's just before noon, just before the doors are about to open. On the way in, driving in, I saw a very long line of people to get in, which is awesome. Everybody knows that if you live in New England and you're into trading card hobby, you're into sports memorabilia, you're just into card shows in general, this is the place to be. So I'm gonna head in a few minutes, and I'll have some pictures and video from what's going on inside, and we'll go from there. So really excited. If you checked out our preview video, you kind of know what we're after for this show. So I'll see you on the other side.
Thank you. Oh, you know what? Here's a couple. I'm sorry. Here's a couple of Allens right here.
I'll pass it on. I appreciate that. Yeah, thanks, buddy. No, I mean, I just don't know that I want to get that right now.
All right, so I am back home, and wow, what a day at the Shriners today for me, for everybody I think that was there. Good turnout, solid turnout. I'm sure it's going to be a lot busier on Saturday and Sunday. So I'm going to go through the pickups. I'm kind of group them by sort of importance, I guess you could say, or the sort of hugeness of the lots. Also going to try to mention the names of the dealers that I bought the cards from. So let's get into this. The first lot that I have here this is one of actually the last lots I bought during the day, was just going through a Red Sox bargain bin and pulling out some stuff, which is something that I've liked to do at shows recently. And this was, the name of the dealer was Card Sharks. And I bought a 15 card lot through a bargain bin for $20 from these guys. And the first card I wanted to show, and I'll probably rifle through the cards pretty quickly, was just, I don't know how I didn't have this card before. This is a Rafael Devers rookie card. I think it's like, 2018 Topps Heritage. And it's in the 59 Topps style. So this is like right up my alley, one of my favorite players of all time, with a card that's in the style of my favorite set of all time, the first vintage set I ever built. So this was cool. Just saw that and was like, yeah, I'll add that. And then, a bunch of other stuff in here that I'll just go through quickly. Kind of also like a Devers early Bowman card that also has Sam Travis on it, named Red Sox fans will remember. There's another Devers Bowman. And then there's a nice winning combinations card, Fleer, with Pedro and Nomar Garciaparra, two of my all-time favorites. This is a nice Casas Bowman. It's numbered to 250, and I think this is not a rookie necessarily. This is a 2019, so it's kind of the next year for him. First Bowman for Kyle Teal. Nice, refractor, Roman Anthony there. Rising Inferno's Roman Anthony, number one prospect in baseball. Love it. First Bowman for Roman Anthony here as well. I have a bunch of these, so I just thought, hey, I'd grab them. There were a few Hostess cards in here. I was looking for Yaz, but they didn't have it. George Scott, Bill Campbell, and the late, great Louis Tiant. Rest in peace to Louis. This is from 77. Speaking of Yaz, there's a really nice thick, this is like a Topps 2021. I don't know what the make is of that, but anyway, nice Bowman Chrome of Yaz there. And this really cool Heroes of Fenway card that has Yaz, Ted Williams, and Nomar on it. So I saw that and I was like, yeah, I'll grab that. So nice lot there for just pretty cheap. All right, so that was from Card Sharks, like I said. All right, next is there was one other bigger lot of raw cards that I got, and this was from Jack. I don't know how to pronounce his last name, but Jack Caricus. I remembered him from last year. I bought some stuff from him last year, and he sets up at Strongsville, so I wanted to make sure I went by his table. Really nice guy. So he had stacks of cards from different years of Hall of Famers, and I went through and picked out a bunch of cards to add to my Playing Days Hall of Fame PC. So, really nice 34 Diamond Stars Pie Trainer. Now, this card is trimmed, so I was able to get a bit of a... this card was discounted. And I did match it up with one of the other Diamond Stars cards that I bought in this lot, and it's small, but it's pretty close. There's a good chance I'm going to send this into SGC, and we'll see what they say. They're pretty good. I doubt that they'll miss it. Maybe he'll get a numerical grade. I think I'm going to send it in, and I might send it in tomorrow because SGC is there. But this was a nice add to my Hall of Fame PC Pie Trainer. Heine Manouche. This card, there's like a variation where there's no W on his arm, I think. So another Hall of Famer there. Rick Farrell, definitely a lesser Hall of Famer, but a Red Sox Hall of Famer nonetheless. So I'll just sort of spoil to say I didn't buy the Lefty Grove Diamond Stars card, which I really wanted, but today, and I'm not going to probably end up buying it this weekend, but I did get his catcher, so there's that. And then 36 Gaudy of Mickey Cochran. So that's 4 guys to add to my Hall of Fame Playing Days PC that I didn't have before. So this was a lower grade one. And then the last 2 were, I mentioned that I wanted to get the Topps game cards of some of the bigger names to finish out a page in my vintage book, and I was able to grab in this lot this really nice Willie Mays and really nice Roberto Clemente. So all of those cards together, they came out, the number, the book number, or the number that he had them priced at was $345, and he sold them to me for $300, so that was great. And then just to add on the, this was a separate lot, separate buy, and I apologize, I don't have the name of the dealer, but I have bought from him before. I did get this very low grade, and I did pay $13 for this Hank Aaron. And so I was willing to do that and spend $13 on this and kind of a little bit more on because I spent less on this. I was fine with spending more on these 2. So this was exact. These were the 3 exact game cards that I wanted to finish that page in my vintage binder, and now it's done. So really excited about that. All right, so then let's move on to the slabs. The first slab that I bought from a very nice guy who I had a really nice conversation with. A local guy named Jeff Gross, and this is his information, and that's where you can find him. And more on the back here, he seems like he has a consignment service that he does. He said he lives in Newburyport. That's right. So really nice guy. He had an outstanding group of T206 cards that he was looking to sell, and he had 2 cards, of different price points. At this point, I had already kind of spent a lot of money on a T206 card that you'll see in a second. But I ended up buying a card from him to add to the list of Hall of Famers in the sort of action poses. And I got this really nice 1911 Sweet Caporal Vic Willis throwing. And it's, as you can see there, it's certainly got a crease down the middle. He had 2 of these cards. He had one that was more expensive. I opted for the less expensive one, just because, again, you're going to see some of the other cards that I spent some money on today. So he had this card marked at $135, and he sold it to me for $120, which I thought was an incredibly fair deal. And then you kind of see the back there. You can see the crease that runs through it. So again, nice addition to my PC. This was certainly on my list of cards to consider buying this weekend. Was this really nice Vic Willis? I'm going to put him there, and I'm actually going to adjust the camera so that you can see Vic in the background while I maybe talk about some of the other cards that I have. Before I talk about the last 3 cards, I did want to mention just quickly that I had the chance to meet Howard Chasser. I didn't end up buying anything from his table today on Friday, but a pretty well-known vintage dealer and a really nice man. And I mentioned I had a YouTube channel. He said, I'm willing to go on YouTube. I'll do interviews and whatever you collect. And I just thought that was really nice of him. So people speak very highly of Howard. So I wanted to make sure that I mentioned that I chatted with Howard today, and maybe tomorrow I'll buy something from his table. Okay, so the Vic Willis card is there. The next is a card that I bought from a husband and wife, I believe, called I don't know their names, but the name of their entity was called National Card Investors. And they had a card that was on my Shriners list that I decided to pull the trigger on. And it is this really nice 61 Fleer Bill Russell. Centering's a little bit tough. Obviously it's a little bit off center, but these Fleer cards from this set are incredibly hard to find centered. He had this marked at 360. I offered 325, and he said yes. That is slightly below the VCP average for the card, so I was really happy to get this card at that price. And then kind of look at the back here. Really nice back, pretty clean. Just overall a pretty clean example of this card. Hard to come by, super clean and super, well centered. This is, again, I would say centering is not like the strongest suit of this card, but it's not the worst. You can see the border on the left there and the top to bottom. So this was, again, a card I really wanted to add this weekend, and I did. I didn't buy the koozie of the same set. I saw a few examples of it in relatively decent prices, and maybe if they still have them tomorrow, I will buy them. So anyway, again, this was from National Card Investors at the show. So really nice, really happy with this card, and a really nice addition. One of my first big basketball cards that I've bought. Okay, so the final two cards. These are two of my favorite purchases of all time. One of them was on the list, and one was not necessarily, although the player was. And I kind of am still stunned that I came away from this show today with these two cards. So I'm going to talk about the one that, if you have followed on social media, you follow me, you follow Matt, my buddy Matt from Providence. And again, here is his card and his information. He might have a new card, but that is, you can also follow him on Twitter, same Matt from Providence. Matt had posted some cards on social media that he was going to be selling this weekend. First off, I was surprised to see him because I didn't think he was going to be there. I thought he was only going to be there Saturday, Sunday. I see him walking around, and I'm like, hey, and he's like, I'm like, are you set up today? He's like, yeah. And I said, well, good for you, because I got money to spend. Matt had posted a couple of pictures of Christy Mathewson T206 cards, and I told him that was the card I was looking for. And one of them was already spoken for. He also had an American Caramel one, but Matt gave me an incredible price, and I couldn't say no. So I came away from the show with this absolutely unbelievable Christy Mathewson dark cap in an SGC 2.5 with the polar bear back. And when I say he gave me a great deal, I will say he had it marked at $1,500 and he sold it to me for $1,200. And I will tell you that it pays to have friends in the hobby, and it pays to build relationships in the hobby, because you can get a card like this at an incredible price. And that's what I think I paid. Like, I'm going to try to show you guys a little bit. Like, it certainly is a 2.5. But I mean, look at the color, look at the, good registration. This is one of the greatest cards of all time, and I have an incredible example of it. But, and then of course, you're probably wondering, how's the back? Because the polar bear backs are incredible. Well, the back is incredible. I wonder if that's a piece of tobacco right there. I wouldn't be surprised if it was. Because again, the polar bear cards were in bags with loose tobacco. That was the only set where it was like that. But look at the color on the back. Again, people die for these cards, like the polar bear back Christy Mathewson card. So holy crap, I can't believe I have this card. And again, want to say huge thanks to Matt, one of the best in the biz. Again, if you're going this weekend, make sure you stop by his table. He's kind of in the back left corner when you walk in. So there you go. So there's that. And then the last card that I'm just like, again, I'm stunned. I'm over the moon. And this was not a card that I expected to buy this weekend. Not a card that was a specific card that was on my radar at all. But this is kind of just how things end up. This is how things go at shows, where you walk around, you look around for the right thing, for what you want, and you end up kind of surprising yourself with what you buy. Well, I certainly surprised myself by this card. I want to shout out Stan Locke. People know in the vintage card space know Stan. I don't think I bought from him before. I may have bought from him last year, because he was very busy, had a very busy table at this show, tons of people coming up. And there's his information on the back. And he had a lot of cards. I asked him if he had a bunch of Cracker Jacks. I asked him if he had a Joe Wood. He didn't. But what he did have is he had a bunch of cards from Hall of Famer Eddie Plank. And there was one in particular that he had that I looked at it, and I looked at it, and I looked at it, and I walked away from the table, and I walked around for a while, and the card I was enamored with it, and I was like, I gotta have it, Matt. I gotta have it. I gotta have it. I gotta have it. I gotta have it. And I decided not to deny myself, and I bought it. And here's the card. 1909 American Caramel Eddie Plank. Wow. Look at the color. It's obviously it's a little bit off center, but look at the color on this card of one of the best pitchers of this era. These are like, one of the best pitchers in the National League during this stretch. These two guys, Mathewson and Plank, their careers basically overlapped and they played in opposite leagues. Did they play each other they must have played, did they play each other in the 1905 World Series? Maybe. And then maybe a couple other times in the 1910s. But Gettysburg Eddie. This is a PSA 2 MK, and I'll show you why it's got the MK, because somebody looks like they wrote either 15 or 25 or 18 right there, and they tried to erase it. But the backs of these cards equally incredible, and I saw this card and I was just like, I can't pass this up. Now I'm going to put this down, and I'm going to talk a little bit about my thought process with this, and I'll just mention that I paid. This card was listed from Stan at $1,250. I offered $1,000, and he said he would do $1,100, and I said yes because I really wanted this card. Eddie Plank cards carry a big premium. For whatever reason, he doesn't have a lot of cards. Probably the biggest reason why the Eddie Plank cards carry a premium is because his T206 card is basically just as rare, if not more rare, than the Honus Wagner T206 card. And it doesn't carry the same premium as the Wagner because, Wagner was a more iconic player, of course. But that there's residual impact on the prices of basically every Eddie Plank card because of the fact that there's no T206 cards, and the T206 cards were the most prevalent cards of the era. So I walked around for a while after I first looked at the Plank, and I thought to myself, do I want to spend my money for this show on Eddie, or do I want to spread it around to other cards? Do I want to be able to buy 41 play ball Jimmy Fox or a Hank Greenberg or Ernie Banks rookie or any of a number of cards that I saw all around the show? And I decided to do something that I think, as a vintage aficionado, is something that I would recommend that folks do when you really think about it, and that is to take the opportunity to buy the cards that you're not going to see every day. I don't see Eddie Plank cards every day. I certainly do not. That's why I decided I'm going to buy this card. And so I walk away from this show today with two absolute Grail cards, centerpiece cards of my collection, and I could not be more thrilled about it. So thank you to Stan Locke. Thank you to Matt from Providence. Thank you to everybody I bought from today. So I'm going to put this video up tonight. And then tomorrow, it will be Saturday. I will be at the show. I'm really looking forward to it. It's kind of my hope. I was kind of hoping this was going to be the case. Spend Friday doing the bulk of my buying, and then be able to use Saturday to just enjoy the show and walk around and spend time with Abby, and also spend time with other YouTubers and Twitter folks who I know are going to be at the show tomorrow. So looking forward to that. But thanks very much for watching. We really appreciate it. If you're going to Shriners on Saturday, please let me know. I won't be there on Sunday. Let me know what you thought of these pickups. Let me know what you thought of these cards. And I'd love to hear your thoughts. And that's going to do it for this edition of Wax Pack Wisdom. Please like this video. Please comment. Let us know what you think. Subscribe. In the video description, you'll find a link to where you can follow us on all social media channels, as well as a list of our favorite nonprofits and charities. Please consider supporting one of them if you enjoyed this content. Thanks very much for watching, and we will see you next time on Wax Pack Wisdom. Take care.